Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be heading into the second series of today. It's another promotion game. It's AMKAL to face off against Khan. Obviously, we kind of alluded to the fact that this game has so much on the line, and obviously we've already seen the kind of progression from one side today being one win. What are our intentions and kind of expectations for this one here, Trav?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, AMKAL, they have the name value. They've got Nathani. They've got
Yes.
Chiron. They've got my namesake, who's called himself Travis for some reason when his name is Alexander. We've got Stinix. We've got Idis Balance. These are all respected former Tier 1 pros and Tier 2 pros.
Yes.
Khan are in a very weird position where they sometimes look absolutely god-awful and sometimes can beat teams way above their level. Look at Johnny Speeds, look at Unity, look at Sinners, for example. They've actually been able to get some decent results lately and get themselves into this 2-1 bracket. But for AMKAL, who we're looking at right now, for me, this is an absolute must-win. You've made these changes to get these sort of more name value players onto your roster like Nathani and Chiron. You've got to get some results now. They're not great at the moment, but a playoff berth here could begin something.
Yeah, and I think as well something that we do need to recognize is that these are kind of very well established players, but there still needs to be that kind of synergy. There still needs to be that kind of understanding of what this team wants to achieve. Obviously, we have seen kind of previous combinations of these players. I believe Nathani and Chiron, they were both on that BetBoom roster, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, it's still the idea that they've got kind of synergies in place. They have played alongside one another, but it's still the idea that this isn't kind of a perfect roster. But I think what we do have to really evaluate is there's some real talent here on this AMKAL side. And when we flip over, we'll look at the Khan roster now. When you compare these two, it's not really a fair comparison. Obviously, we had Lomic. I remember watching Lomic back in the day on VP Prodigy. Obviously, he was a very important player there. But honestly, I feel like this team is all contingent on, are we going to see Lomic absolutely carry? Are we going to see a life game from Sukamiao? Like, it's not the consistency that you need, especially to be a playoff team. They've got themselves to 2-1, and I think it's got it already. That's pretty impressive from Khan. But I think this is maybe going to be too tough of a test. I think this is where maybe we say, okay, well, this is where you're going to get bested. But obviously, a real factor for both teams' success today is going to be the vetoes. And any ideas with the vetoes? Because we've not seen that much nuke or overpass from Khan. So whether we'll see them feature, which we do, overpass as the decider, that's a dangerous one. I can't lie.
Yeah, that is a surprise. I think Khan will be happy because they do have two of their most played maps in this pool, in the first two maps of this BO3 in Mirage and Ancient. But if it goes to Overpass, I'll be quite confident in AMKAL. We have seen Khan beat Eyeballs on the map 13-6, which is an okay result. They've only played it twice in the last 3 months at all. There's one player on this team who I used to think was probably the guy that I would look to on Khan, and previously the team called Delta, right? Yep. It's June. I thought June was actually had something about him. He had some talent. He had some of this entry fragger sharp aim that I had kind of seen few and far between, but he had something about him. And I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially at only 18 years old. But he hasn't really shown much at all as of late to prove that he can continue to do that at this upper level. Sure, their results overall as a team are looking better, but I do want to see him play a little bit better personally. When it comes to the series as a whole, I think Mirage and Ancient historically have been good maps for the individuals on AMKAL. As a collective, who knows? Because they've not been playing together for a huge amount of time, and they have not really been getting many solid results either. Important thing to mention is the only reason they have a second win in this group stage of CCT at the moment, the reason they're in the 2-1 bracket, is because they beat Copenhagen Wolves, then got a forfeit win against Senza. So, like, that is, they haven't actually won their way to get here. They need to win their way through right now. Take the opportunity that's been given to them.
Yeah, especially as well when you look at that kind of result against ARCRED, right? Obviously, it was a good start to their Swiss stage. They, besting Copenhagen Wolves 2-0. But then when they faced against ARCRED, they obviously lost it in a 2-0 fashion. The maps as well were the CS Classics. We had Inferno, Dust, and Mirage. Obviously, didn't see Mirage, but they lost map 1 13-6. They lost their map pick 13-9. And it's like, don't get me wrong, ARCRED are a good team, and they're certainly deserving of kind of besting AMKAL in that series. But it's not as though we saw overtimes. It's not as though it was a 3-map thriller. It was as though AMKAL got bodied. And I think as well, we're going to be seeing a lot of that, especially when AMKAL are against teams that are far more kind of strategically inclined. This is where we do need to say that AMKAL, they have this free opportunity, as you mentioned, not free, but this opportunity gifted by the forfeit win. If they take it now today, brilliant. But at least for them, it's not as though it's an elimination game. It's not as though everything's on the line. But Trav, we did just get word from production that there is a slight connectivity issue for one of the teams, I believe. So what we will do is jump to a short break, and we'll be in the action on Mirage, hopefully very soon. Back into the action we go now. Obviously, we mentioned just a slight delay when it comes to starting this one off. So, Khan, this is their map selection. It is Mirage and AMKAL to start on that CT side.
Let's see how this one will go. First time I'm having a chance to cover AMKAL since these roster changes came in. This revamped roster. Definitely not been any smooth sailing for them so far. They've been a bit underwhelming. But I need to see them win this one today. This is a critical one for them. Already, it's going to be difficult for Cynics. He'll get taken down by June, but Chiron's having a whale of a time. Hopefully we'll see the replay from his POV. I think he's clicked his mouse 4 times and he's got 4 kills. Bish bash bosh, pistol done.
Yeah, I think that's kind of just how you hope every single pistol round to go. It was 5 bullets. It was 6 actually. He shot one right at the end. Yeah, that's a great pistol. Obviously, this is, as you mentioned, an important game for AMKAL because they've got playoffs on the line. But obviously as well, they will know this is the first time you're watching them, so they need to step up today to prove that point. It's Trav time today. Come on, AMKAL.
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
Show us what you're made of. Because I've seen this a few times, and actually, I've been pretty pleasantly surprised. I can't lie. Okay. I thought it would take them a while. I honestly thought this AMKAL roster would have that kind of problem of just too many good players. And I think you'll know what I mean because there is honestly, you know, very strong talent. You've got players like Chiron, like Stinix, like IDisbalance, and Nafany as well, who's, you know, pretty decently fragging in-game leader within this tier. Obviously, when he was in tier 1, maybe something different, but we've seen a lot from this AMKAL roster.
Yep, sure. IDisbalance holding this off angle, and very comfortable level spray down for him to get anti-eco done cleanly, and Nafany will help out with that. And yeah, I mean, it's a career goal of mine, Zola. That I've not had a chance to interview Travis yet and find out why on earth he's chosen that name. One day we'll get there. One day we will get there.
Make it happen.
He's got me a sticker in the game. That's all I care about.
Very
PGL
true,
Copenhagen, never forget. Plenty of those Travis golds are plastered all over my weapons. So he's the main man, dude. Bless him. Bless him for choosing that name for no reason.
Look, maybe you inspired him. You never know. You never know.
One win. The origins of Travis in one win with Deco will not be forgotten. June will get the crazy entry there toward Chiron, and that is what I mentioned, exactly what I need to see from him. Mirage is one of his better maps from memory.
Oh.
And yeah, that is the kind of entries I want to see. IDisbalance get a lovely pick in combo, and Nafany will help out from window. So they're back into an advantage already.
Yeah, this kind of contact and pivot from IDisbalance and Nafany on pretty much every map. In nearly every engagement towards middle, it seems to be these two. There's a real nice push and pull between these two. And it's something that we'll see on Mirage. It's also something that we'll see on Ancient. IDisbalance loves playing towards Red Room, and whether Nafany's swinging out from Cave, whether he's looking to aggress from Donut, whether he's already flanked through A main, I really like the type of play that these two have on their CT side. It seems like there is a real nice combination there, and I think it's also the identity that throughout the vast majority of Nafany's career, he's had an AWPer that can be so potent, that can be kind of so able, and I think that's what a lot of CT plans have been made for with Nafany in mind. So I think, you know, this is it works well because IDisbalance is certainly a talented AWPer and can facilitate those types of plans. But the bomb's down now. No utility remaining here for Khan, but there's a smoke, 2 flashes, and an HE grenade. The big issue is Stinix is the only one with the defuse kit, and he's only just rotating into jungle now. The bomb is half ticked, and Khan are going to be questioning, well, are they actually even going for this? Well, with the jump spot from Travis, that should indicate, but there's still, the time is ticked massively. Homeboys can just swing. A very poor retake from AMKAL. What? It seems like the retake took place about 15-20 seconds after the bomb went down. I don't really know what's happening there.
Yeah, just a bit too slow, I think. A bit disappointing. Managed to get himself onto the site there, Khan, and hold on in the end. June using the edge of that smoke pretty well to get that opening kill. But yeah, from here, kind of just, as you say, a bit of a lazy push up with Cynics. He was kind of having a little bit of help from IDisbalance to hold the line from jungle, but yeah, it was just mistimed and got caught on those timings. AMKAL 2-1, Calm with their first round on the board, and with 3 alive as well to have some money in reserve.
time from Homeboys here. Takes down Nafany in middle. Oh, sick. I think the one thing that this Calm roster have shown quite well and quite frequently and consistently is when it comes to individuals and when it comes to kind of opening frags, and I guess the first portion of rounds is where they really flourish. And I think a lot of the time we'll see in Khan rounds, a vast majority, the rounds that they win, the rounds done in about, what, 30, 40 seconds. I feel like they're in these 5v3s, these 5v2s quite early on. But the issue with that is because it's so contingent on individuals and opening kills and stuff like that, I feel like most rounds for them are kind of done in the first 40 seconds, whether it's a win or a loss, because they're going for these heads-up fights. They're going for these quote-unquote coin flip kills. And if it goes against them, it looks so silly. But obviously, we've seen here for Khan, they're in a decent spot, but peeking into Stinix might be an issue. I know he's not the main AWPer for this team, but still, a point-and-click weapon for anyone in this level of Counter-Strike is one of which should work, and they've gone for a gamble. So much space has been taken here towards the B-bomb site, but the issue is they've only got 35 seconds. They're going to... Oh, surely they're not backing away. Okay, well, because all of this is now being cleared, they are heading elsewhere.
Classic waiting in Khan.
Obviously, yeah.
Sitting there, like, he holds off rotations. It's a very common thing to do, right? But, yeah, they have, with the fact they've got a player on bench, there's no reason to risk it. You may as well. You've been able to get away, Dosick.
I don't know how.
Honestly, this hunt is worth it. It's maybe a little bit early in the game to go for a bit of a harder hunt than like this, but, you know, I don't mind it. What's it called? Double check short to make sure no one's charging in for some kind of ninja, but... yeah, you're only saving 2 M4s. The AWP's been removed. You're going to build up your money with 5 players up. They went and had a look over toward A for a little bit more, but they know that the extra is probably enough for now, and then you focus on your own money. So fair enough.
Obviously, for Khan, it's an important round, not only, as you mentioned, for the fact they take that extra weapon, but, yeah, ensuring to have a strong T side. We know that AMKAL are going to be showing strength on this CT side, so the best thing that Khan can do is just employ such great financial structure. They want to be in a spot where win or lose a round, they're getting a buy regardless. They're having the perfect investment. They're getting the AWP in play. They're having kind of everything you could want and more. And that's something that's really vital for their success.
Yeah, of course, having a look at the previous matchups as well between you know, these sort of teams and what they've been doing recently. They haven't played each other before, so this is the first time matchup between them. And AMKAL's results maybe doing a little bit of a disservice with how much they're trying to grow at this sort of level. They had a couple of bad losses in a row, and on a Mo 500 BC game, you can forgive the BC game result as that's against Symbol, obviously, but yeah, I mean, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 losses to those. But they have managed to beat Copenhagen Wolves. They've beaten 500 in a game before that. They've got one over Medisport. These sort of tier 3 teams that float around, they are getting results against. They had a decent little streak a few weeks ago as well in one of the close qualifiers, beating Ruby and 33. Decent tier 3 Russian teams, Russian rivals. So they're getting there, but getting further, that next step up, what will probably be, with a roster of this name value, into tier 2 and getting... I mean, let's just have a look at the rankings right now as an example, right? Have a quick scroll down. They probably want to be around about where ESC and Amiga are right now, and then maybe a few months after that, you could look at perhaps an Ecstatic or a Paravision or something like that. That's probably their goal for the short to mid-term. Especially considering the Amiga are kind of in free fall at the moment. They've had a couple of awful results over the last couple of days after they've lost away. As in particular, that seems to have hurt them, especially. But yeah, they're trying to work their way up to that point. But there's only really so much you can play in. Like on HLTV, they're number 93 at the moment. that they need another 60 places to jump up to where sort of Namiga are currently rated. So
They're gonna have to win some events. They're gonna have to they're gonna have to some back to back to back victories. Which, don't get me wrong, it's within the wheelhouse of AMKAL, but I think in the same vein, as you say, not only is there not like there's only a handful of events, but it's like I saw a couple tweets about it recently when people were kind of talking about Simple. Obviously, him playing for BC Game, I think there was a lot of negativity from the start, and everyone was kind of talking about how like, oh, he's just farming in tier 2 because it's easier. And I saw a post where it was kind of like, well, tier 2 is actually different because you don't have freedom with a schedule. You don't really have that kind of ease of kind of knowing your exact events and maybe having one best of 3 every 2 days or a best of 3 a day. This grind for a lot of teams take players like AMKAL, who a lot have been in the tier 1 space, players like Nafany, like Chiron, like Travis, who will have had that kind of, I guess, a vast majority of their time with these bigger events. They're now kind of been thrown into the, I've got to play 2-3 best of 3s a day now. And it's a different beast. Obviously, maybe the level of opponent might be a little bit less, but it's not as though these tier 2 teams aren't going to be able to put up results, aren't going to be able to put up games. So yeah. I think it's a very different look, and I think that's something that people do forget. I think it's something people do really kind of overlook, because you go from maybe playing, one best of 3 every 2 days. Granted, it might be against your phases, your vitalities, but they're now going to play 3 best of 3s a day for a week straight, 2 weeks straight, and they're still against formidable opponents. And obviously that's kind of the scenario that everyone's in, but no longer within the tech issue. We are back into the action, and obviously with it being just these 2 save rifles, it's going to be an eco from AMKAL. Idis Balance can get an AWP out in the next, and that's why he's gone for the full eco.
Chiron tried to make a play happen with that M4, jumping up towards short quick, but kind of whiffed his shot. Simple as that. Dune hit the head first. But yeah, I think going along with the point you were making as well, there are very, very few teams at this level that get streaks going and continue them for more than like 10 BO3s. There's a very, very, like, the best teams at the moment are probably ones on the come up, let's say, anyway. Probably BC Game was Simple.
Yeah.
ESC have had a crazy streak lately, but they're struggling to do more of that on LAN and prove it on LAN. They lost to some Polish rivals on the in the Birch Cup today. But like, there's a very, very few examples of teams as a whole that can keep those streaks going. Players and form, a bit more common, and we see the advantages of having like, some crazy names coming through. Like Molodoy was a pluck from No Man's Land somewhat, even though he was doing really, really well on AMKAL a while back. But yeah, I think it's very, very difficult, and why you got to keep a close eye on these things if you're any of the top teams, or even a team that's slightly above. See who's playing well, get your scouts out, keep an eye on these sort of streaks that could happen. AMKAL will now have their full buy available once again, and Idis Balance on the AWP.
Yeah, I think as well. It's something that we've kind of mentioned about a lot of teams. It's not only is it difficult to kind of get consistency going because of just how many games you're playing and the kind of the difficulty and changes, but also it's why that you see so many upsets. It's why you see so much turbulence, because there is you are just going to have the odd bad game where you don't have kind of 3 days or a week to prep for an opponent. You might have 3 hours, you might have 3 minutes before the changes between your series.
Yeah.
But nice start to the round here for AMKAL. Obviously, they want to kind of claim the lead back from Kant. And with Chiron and Nafany finding frags early in this one, they've got a 2-man advantage. And again, it's a perfect example of what I said works so well and so badly for Kant. They go for these early fights. They go for these early picks. It was just Nafany and Chiron both with 1v1s. And they've won them both this time. So it means Khan are the team in this 3 versus 5. And I think it's the type of game plan that's always so exciting. It's always really kind of fun to watch from our perspective, because it's not as though it's super disciplined and we're always seeing kind of these perma executes where it's all about the util and it's less about individual ability and stuff like that. Khan are certainly within that wheelhouse of, look, we are a team of individuals. We're going to look for these 1v1 fights. If we win them, great. If we lose them, oh well. And I think a lot of teams do actually struggle against it because they're more prepared for, I guess, a more kind of structured style of play. But AMKAL, there's 20 seconds remaining. 2 from short. Obviously, 1 from apartments. Pushing through this smoke. Chiron gets 1. And it's going to be a fairly simple round. Lomic, Nice find of the orb, but Idis Balance trading, and Dosic all that remains here in apartments. So 3-3 scoreline.
Yeah, actually surprised that, I mean, can't have money, so fair enough, go for it. Try and do some damage to the CT economy, but I was maybe a little bit surprised that considering they were so out of position, they didn't just save with the 3 they had alive. I do prefer people not to save, obviously, but still. It was kind of a self-flash into con there for June, kind of showing maybe a little bit of inexperience, not really needed to do that then and there. Maybe he felt like he had to make a play to force some kind of recovery in the round, but still, AMKAL will be happy with those every single day of the week.
Obviously, finances have taken a bit of a turn, and predominantly because we didn't see those 3 players saving. I know, okay, yeah, there's the idea you can win that 3v5, but as you mentioned, they're so split, very little time. Yeah, okay, you lose out on the loss bonus, but you also lose out on full equipment. It just seems a little bit unnecessary. Nice find from Idis Balance, though. Bit more of a util-dependent type of decision and type of round from Khan, and they're just heading into A with the smokes, but Nafany. Free kill onto Dosic. 5 versus 3 here. AMKAL should win this retake.
Travis will be able to deal with Teo. Leaves it all down to June and Homeboys, a man of many names. Trying to hold the line, and now it's all down to June. He's some crazy taps, and when you're playing from that angle, you're going to get overwhelmed. Only 2 points of damage taken by AMKAL. All 5 players alive. Important money build up. Plant sure is good for Khan. It gives him some money to work with in this following round for perhaps 2 or 3 AKs. Won't be across the board, but it'll have something. But some good reactions from AMKAL in the last couple of rounds.
That is now the lead taken by AMKAL, as I mentioned. That was the goal. With a bomb plant, though, Khan can invest. Utility a real issue here for Khan. Chiron gets 1, Dosic with the trade. Widest balance. Nice bait shot there from Teo.
Almost. I think I'm going to need to maneuver now, AMKAL, because they've lost quite a lot of progress in the round. They're in a man disadvantage, and as you can see, Travis is already looking for information to find out where Khan aren't, or perhaps are. He's looking through ramp right now. Might go a little bit deeper in a second. But he's just going to prop himself up on the plant pot, I believe. They do have 2A. Cynics is now walking back. Of course, understandably, perhaps concerned about a boost into window that could get through murder hole. He's all alone toward B. Idis Balance is rotating in now, but he's got to worry about that window position. You can see on the map right now. He's got a blob to get past, and Stinix tries to hold, but as soon as Teo gets that entry towards Stinix, that's when Idis Balance rotates properly, and Dosic is waiting. So that is perfect setup for Khan.
Yeah, lovely stuff there from Khan. Again, though, how much of that round is conditioned from strategy and great game plan and everything like that? We just saw the opening kills go their way, and because of the positioning, or because of the kills, they had kind of space to work with. Obviously, they do really well with that kind of mid-round call and the decision-making based off those frags, but I quite like this type of game, where it is kind of really back and forth. It is up in the air. There is no kind of continuance and expectation. Obviously, with this being the map pick of Khan, I think expectations are that they're going to feel favoured. But the win rate, obviously, for AMKAL hasn't been bad on this map. In fact, it has been better. But sample size is what's really going the way of Khan. And when you look at some of the recent games, they played what? I think they played it 8 times in the last week or so, and they've won it 6 of those games. So I think Khan, they're offering up a lot of threats so far, And I think if they can get to 5, I think they're going to feel pretty confident when it comes to the chance of success here on Mirage.
Dominic will be able to find Stinix early. Not the great start to the game for Stinix. Only 1-6 in this one. Nafany has been able to get a trade, and they have got the players in the right positions. Nafany's actually been able to get away back into a connector as well. Going for a very confident and aggressive wide swing to peak once again, but he's going to be met with a flash and a turn, trying to get away, not allowed to get away. June's been really good, only 5-5, but I think it's important to mention that every single one of his kills has been pretty impactful, and there is another, dealing with Travis. I mentioned he can be a bit explosive. Hasn't been able to find any sort of rhythm lately overall when it comes to all these back-to-back BO3s kind of been playing. But here we go. Good map for him, and he's showing up. 2 big kills. It'll get Khan the lead.
You know what I find really interesting and quite funny about this Khan roster is obviously Lomic. I remember watching him back in VP Prodigy. Obviously teammates with Latic, and we knew at the time Latic was AWPing then. I think that's where he kind of got that rise to fame. Lomic, on the other hand, though, obviously was rifling at the time, but has maneuvered to AWPing because realistically realized actually I can do this at a high level. I have no issue with this at all, and obviously because he's been rifling for so long as well, can offer such kind of a hybrid nature as well, which is just so beneficial. But the hunt is on here. They're searching for Chiron. Teo has been taken down though, but again, Khan, surely their own money's got to be something they think about.
Terrorists win.
You looking clean with it. And I do think he's one of the players on the team that does have to play on a bit of higher ping as well, due to just where they are in the world. A simple counter-strike from Khan. Nafany's going to be able to deal with Dune, and Chiron's found Dosic as well, so an immediate recovery. And what is a bit of a mixed up buy, I guess you could call it, with the 5.7 FAMAS, AK, M4, and AWP. I think it should be okay. 5v2. Again, looking to try and recover back into a 5-5 scoreline. Utility is okay for both the 2 remaining Khan players, but what can you really do with it? They've got Nafany in the corner of window. Homeboy's actually not seeing that. Not seeing it in his peripheral either. Clearly playing 4x3.
Yeah, Teo gonna get caught there. 5 survivors from AMKAL is brilliant. Five to 5, as I said, it is this real back and forth. And I think neither team has shown consistent stability here on the map. And obviously that's going to benefit Khan massively. Because not having stability on your CT side, not having that consistency, getting kind of 3-4 rounds in a row or anything like that, that's where things get a little bit worrying. You know, you look at this half from AMKAL, they won what? They won the pistol round, which got them 2, which was a Chiron 4K. They won 2 rounds in a row. One against a full by, one against an eco. They've now just won in that one, but the consistency hasn't been seen. At least in this round, they've got the 2 opening kills, but they've got to find success here because, as I mentioned, I think Khan will be happy with 5. The fact there's still 2 rounds up for grabs. AMKAL, they've got to be disciplined and they've got to be clinical here. Travis, great find, brings it to a 5 versus 2.
It'll be fine. Going to wrestle the lead back. It's been pretty back and forth, exactly like this the entire game so far. Travis will wide swing for it. His 4th kill of the game. Doubles his kill tally, actually. It's been Chiron, Nafany, and Titus Balance to do most of the work so far. They've been players in position, actually, to have to do most of the work with how they've how kind of put a lot of pressure on toward mid and A.
What are our thoughts on AMKAL so far? Because we've got Nafany playing really well. We've got Idis Balance playing really well. Chiron as well. Stinix is having a bit of a tough one, though. And obviously, when we move to the T side, I think that's where Stinix hopefully will be able to show his true colours and kind of be able to provide the brilliance that we saw from him in the past. But are we thinking that the performance from AMKAL so far is enough, or?
At the moment, I would say they're doing fine. I wouldn't really give them much more credit than that, because there's definitely been multiple rounds where they've been caught by Khan in terms of how Khan have positioned themselves and how AMKAL kind of just got caught off guard. So, yeah, I think they won't be too unhappy. I think going on toward T side, I would favour them a bit more than on CT, purely because I think Khan would have a worse CT side. The stats might not actually back that up, but that's my personal belief from watching them before. We'll see anyway. Bit of a faster play in toward A here to end the half for Khan, trying to make havoc happen with these Tech 9s. Need to break the smoke, but a little bit too deep and doesn't break it properly. The plant will get down though, and Lomic does have that Tech 9 up close. Chiron will be delighted to be able to find Dune though. That's a great one to find. Lomic might have to go aggressive with this Tech 9 now. Getting 2 would feel pretty unlikely, but he's got teammates doing work elsewhere. Thankfully for Chiron, reacts well, and is able to take Dosic as well. 7-5 confirmed on the half for the favourites.
15-4 is Chiron. Nearly a 4 KD. That is just pretty nuts. The missed nade there is a little bit unfortunate, but again, I think we see it. Can I just say, we see it far too often. That missed right-click nade where it goes too deep or too shallow. I don't really know how these pros are getting it wrong so frequently. I can't lie. Whenever I see it, I'm just thinking, how have we messed up a nade of the smoke? This seems a bit amateur. Obviously, it didn't impact the round. It's not as though, oh, well, can't get the bomb plant so they can buy in the next or anything like that. It's the last round and a half. But still, it's the fact that that round could have gone far easier for AMKAL because they looked to disengage and take down the planter. And then a little bit of missed utility. Quite fortunate was Chiron to find one through the smoke. We had, you know, little benefits and little gifts, I guess you could say, for AMKAL there. But either way, Khan, they find 5. As I said, I think 5 will be enough for them if they, you know, it is enough to win. 5 on the T side, especially when you take into account that AMKAL won the pistol. Teo's having a really tough game, though, isn't he? 2-10. I thought Stinix's performance would be the one that we'd highlight maybe after the game about if there was improvement. We might have seen a different result. But for Khan, it's been a real struggle, and especially for Teo.
Comes the play on the second half pistol. We're running through under, all the way up toward Con, and Lomic is kind of caught in window. Idis Balance will not let him escape too much longer, and dueling from short, when you've got multiple heads to try and hit, is very, very difficult. Idis Balance will try and just stay back to wait for another couple of rotations. Stinix does go down to Teo, though. A battle between the two players that have kind of been struggling a little bit in this game. And he'll get one more on toward Nafany. Big round for Teo here, doubling his kills already. 2v3 though. Kit on homeboys, trying to creep forward. That'll be dropped on the floor by Chiron. There should be no worries now.
Yeah, Chiron was always going to be the activator here, and he gets a double. He takes down Teo as well. Chiron is 17-4. It's just ridiculous when you see these little moments. You know, I mentioned it with kind of Inters and Hobbit in the previous series, and I think I'm going to be mentioning it here. A little reminder of how good Chiron truly is.
Yeah, he's definitely still got that about him, hasn't he? He's definitely still good enough. I think it's just at the end of his time on some of his previous teams, I think actually multiple of his previous teams, he was just way too inconsistent. He reminded me a little bit of Cello on Furia.
Oh, yeah.
Where just like, he can be insane, but sometimes in a role it doesn't seem to fit him, and also whiffs too much. Simple as that.
Yeah, obviously, the time that he played under Jane would have been so valuable. What? Okay, Teo's found 3. That's one way to deal with this. Teo finally found by Nafany. The final 2 to be maneuvering here through market. Yeah, the lack of health could be so detrimental. Timing the util looks good, but the CZ finds one. Idis balance taken down. It's an eco. It's an eco victory, and it's a Teo triple.
Goodness me. I mean, do we have a replay of Teo's kills there? Production, do we have that? Show it to me, baby. One.
Oh.
Okay, he misses a few here, but watch this sequence. Bosh. Bosh. Goodness gracious. What are you supposed to do against that?
You know what? My favourite thing about that replay is you still see the missed shots. How is he not being taken down in those missed moments? How are you not seeing those? He had to reload to get those 3 kills. He got a triple with a deagle, but he had to reload in that sequence, and still no one took him down. That's poor from AMKAL. I don't want to just say, oh, okay, great shots from Teo, because there was missed opportunities. It took a couple bullets. It's kind of the type of play that I think anyone's going to be understanding of. Okay, yeah, it's a great set of kills, but it's not 3 bullets, 3 frags, is it? And I think AMKAL should have done a bit better there.
Minus balance. We'll be able to push Dosik out of the round there, and they know that June's in the corner. They head and retreat into that position. They could find a way to hit straight back here. Nafany's picked up that M4 as well.
Obviously, it would be somewhat kind of twisting the knife if Khan can win on the eco. They lose the opening kill, give a rifle away, and then lose this round. It's kind of just like, what was the point of the last round? Hopefully for them, though, we don't have that eventuality, because I think for Khan, a victory on Mirage is somewhat needed. Chiron has been dealt with, though. Idis balance found as well. Oh, Lomik, what a lovely set of kills there, and it's on Nafany. It's a Nafany 1v4, turning from the flash, needing to find Homeboys, but not only was Homeboys there, same with Lomik. Can't. They do find the round. Just going to be an eco from AMKAL. 8-8 now expected. Are we thinking AMKAL could have done anything differently there in that round? Because it felt like Chiron going first, low HP, late lurking con seemed a bit unnecessary.
Yeah, I think it's all with us being experts after the event, right? But
yeah,
at the same time, it does make you wonder when you've got the opening pick, when you've got the M4 picked up, whether you're on a lower buy or not. I don't know. There are ways, I think, of making that a little bit more guaranteed that you could get away onto a site and at least get a plant, even if you're at a disadvantage after it.
But I felt like not Chiron, I felt like Nafany wasn't even there to trade anyone. I think the idea of that kind of Tech 9 and rifle is, generally speaking, you let a Tech 9 go first and instantly go for a trade. Or, because these players all have Kevlar and they're all kind of formidable players with these rifles, you actually let Nafany go first. You let him go for an entry, because if he gets a kill, brilliant. He opens up a bomb site, he's got a perfect weapon for it. He's the one rifle. And I think sometimes that's the better approach, because it's that recycle kind of game plan as well of, okay, yeah, if Nafany goes down, it doesn't really matter because someone else can pick up the rifle. But we didn't see that. Oh, okay
then.
Well,
still needs another one. Oh, talking about still needs another one. Surely, though. Surely still not going to happen. Really? Haven't picked up a rifle yet. They're both down to 50 HP and below. Nearest makes no difference. There we go. Surely not now for Travis. Okay, there we are. Go boys, will catch him from short. Wow, that is expensive. Shame they didn't win the round off the back of it like what Teo got done with his deagle, but still, like, it's still great damage overall.
2v5 brought down to a 1v1, and AMKAL with no armor. I don't think they're ever going to be disappointed with that one. It's this third shot from Idis balance, though. Yeah. Just so clinical. Travis obviously taking down Dosik. Look, it's an 8-8 scoreline. The money's pretty broken for Khan. I think for AMKAL, okay, yeah, they made a big mistake themselves. And look, as you say, they would have loved to have won that round. But from that 2v5 scenario to get a bomb plant and 4 kills, not bad at all.
For sure. And they now know that there'll be a lot less money on Khan than there was before. So a chance to not break them, but if they win this round, they would be in a much better position. Well, 8-all anyone's game. Nade and Incendiary toward ramp to try and stop them from making their way out, but they are going to be out. There's actually not that much damage taken at all. Homeboys only gets 1 from triple, The other two CTs are locked behind that CT smoke. Nafany's managed to find one toward Dosick as well. Even stuck in this little smoke corner that we saw in our previous BO3. Players get caught from, but maybe Nafany's just better! Oh my word. Flashes coming in from teammates, forcing both these two CTs away. And Lomik is having to fight his way out to keep the AWP. Surely not possible.
Yeah, Lomik. He has taken down 2 already. He can escape here, which is obviously the idea of keeping this AWP alive. He can drop the AWP, he can invest in a rifle. Both Teo and Homeboys can buy. What do you do here if you can't? Do you go for the investment? Is that the smart play, or just eco around the AWP? Obviously, because there's only 2 survivors. I think.
Yeah, I think you have to put in like 2 5.7s, 2 deagles around the AWP for me.
Yeah, obviously it means an AWP can be dropped, or at least invested, in fact, by Lomik in the next. It's a tough decision, though, because obviously you understand that AMKAL, financially, they're a bit weaker, but Lomik... Oh, Lomik's decided to drop weapons. I hate this decision, because it means he's kind of... He's said that he's not getting an AWP in the next. Maybe he's just going to be looking to play a real saving game of, look, if they go towards A, they go towards A.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, I agree that the investment is a little bit too much. I don't mind having 1 kit on a round like this, though. I think that's fair enough. And they might just win it, look. I mean, Dosick's already dealt with Nafany. There's still 3 players around the A-bomb site for them to get past, but they are brawling their way in. I like this from AMKAL. This sort of a style against this sort of round. Sure, you might have lost the opening kill, but you're going to guarantee a bomb plant. You're not going to be getting caught without players in position to trade, or getting picked off one by one like they were against the Deagles previously. So I think they're going to be all right here.
Yeah, they should be just fine. Lomik, as I mentioned, is just solely going to be looking to keep himself alive.
Yeah, important, as you say. It's the only way he gets that into the next. And he's going to keep the kit and smoke as well. Fair enough. AMKAL 10-8, though. 3 away from this game. Look at their recent results on Mirage. It's not their absolute best map, but it is one they play a decent amount. They have had wins over Medisport, Copenhagen Wolves recently. But no real truly impressive results yet for this new core. It is the most played map for Khan, which is why they picked into it, but what AMKAL can do on the map, most picked for AMKAL is actually Dust 2, but that was banned out by AMKAL themselves, funnily enough, just knowing that Khan play a bit of D2. Oh, Chiron, important second trade on Teo. Chance to break their way through now. Damn, he's been good, hasn't he? 21-7 now.
Yeah, obviously, Chiron is looking to continue, and obviously Stinix and Travis aren't having the best of games, but certainly hitting for 2 currently. Can't. They're giving up 11. Obviously, they've done it so they can invest in the next, but Lomik's going to have to drop. There'll be maybe a FAMAS in play. It's not a perfect scenario to be in, but it's one of their own making.
Back pause being thrown in. I'll say this is a pretty normal Khan game so far, honestly. Like, it's kind of weird to say that, but I think the players who I'm expecting to play the way they do on the team have been playing the way they do. I think Dune is a perfect example of that. he's 9-14, but he's actually had, like, if you remember, as I said, in the first half, he was 6-5 at one point, and all 6 of his kills were really, really important. So maybe 9-14 does him a little bit of a disservice, but that's just what the issue is with him, a little bit of lack of consistency.
Obviously, though, they feel the need to kind of talk things through. Once again, it's because they know that they're all in this round, right? They've gone for the full buy. If they do lose this, AMKAL, they have 4 opportunities to close out this map, and obviously with it being Khan's map pick, it sets AMKAL up perfectly.
They're down to a UMP in this round. And now or never to keep AMKAL off of 12. I do wonder how close this game would be if Chiron wasn't 21-7, by the way. I do think it's always a question of, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, if buts and maybes, which aren't happening, so it's pointless really to discuss them, but I don't know. Do you think AMKAL will be struggling for a little bit of firepower without that?
Do you also think, though, that if Chiron wasn't 21-7, maybe Stinix might have a fair few extra kills, maybe Travis might have a few more kills?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, I feel like there is sometimes games where, like, you'll see it where a player on the T side, the only reason they're still in the game is because of them. But then I think there's still an idea that Chiron's getting these quad kills where he still has 3-4 teammates alive. It's not as though it's kind of super duper clutch moments from him.
Right, AMKAL going for a pretty normal execute here toward A by the looks of things. Jungle and stairs smoke and lots of flashes. Dosik is now stuck on toward triple. Such a hard shot to hit when you got the bricks angle to work with as well. Ooh. And they've traded their way in really nicely. That's just like a good old-fashioned classic, but done really smoothly.
They're still giving this one a bit of a look, which I don't love. I don't love the idea of it. I feel like it's a bit unnecessary.
The UMP as well. Yeah, not going to happen. Very simple and effective from AMKAL. I do think that's kind of the way you have to play against Khan, right? If you know you have the more, like, in general, more firepower and have more experience and have all the name value, I just think just keep it simple. Throw a utility that you know that works, and you will prove that you are better than them. I think teams when they play against Khan try to overcomplicate it a little bit and try and think, look, well, I'll make this call, that'll get past them, but you know, I think that sort of style Counter-Strike from AMKAL is the way to deal with them, especially when maybe you've got a couple of players who play on higher ping from where they play from, right, in the world.
I think as well, a lot of teams have the mentality is that Khan look to play very much individually and kind of off their ability, and I think a lot of teams kind of buy into that. They go, well, we know they're going to play off individuals, and we feel like we're better, so we can just play our own game. And it's like, no, you actually do need to be really, like, smart about it. You need to really think this through, because Khan have bested some top tier opponents because of it. We do have an XM on Teo. Dosik in the back lines can double, and now this is where Teo can activate freely.
Bomb dropped. Yeah, always difficult to finish off the game immediately when you hit 12. Happens all too often. At least like 75% of the games I cover, that's for sure. Lomic does get caught trying to line up a grenade, which is a little bit awkward. And Nafany's not out of this one. He's picked up the bomb. Both players are toward the apartments. And he's actually been able to escape. He's been allowed to escape more than anything. So now it's all down to the brain of Nafany to figure out how he wants to win this one, because this is genuinely doable with where Teo and Homeboys are.
Not only is it doable, I actually think it becomes easy for Nafany because they're so far away from the action. If he plants open, which he's going to do, it's the tap of the bomb first, but he's still going to plant in a fairly open position. They could be towards CT, he could be towards ramp, he could be towards Palace. Oh, okay, well, missed shots from Nafany. Okay,
never mind.
I thought Nafany was going to play that really different. maybe he didn't realize that they wouldn't have had a kit. But yeah, I wanted to say Nafany could have played that so differently. Just looked to kind of, I guess, just hide away. Could have played in Firebox, whatever.
Yeah,
and it would have created some real issues. But he decides to, obviously he gets seen, but he also decides to take that fight, just back away.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think there it's a case of, I think every other option that was available to him was probably better than the one he chose.
He literally chose
he could have
the
planted inverse default. He could have planted straight away on triple. He could have played in maybe in a position that wasn't where the bomb was actually for. For example, inverse default and play Palace. Like that could have maybe won him at least the first duel and then given him a chance in a 1v1. So yeah, this is a lot faster though.
Nafany, yeah.
And I have no idea he's up towards short. Incredible damage with the nade, but Nafany's taken Teo on Van as well. I'm not sure how he's managed to do that. He's all down to Dossick. He's used his entire clip on his M4. This one should be done.
Reposition out of Homeboy is going to be retaken from short from his teammate. But with Chiron finding Loic. Not really much that can be done. AMKAL going to take map 1. Okay, well, Chiron has just given him a heads up fight. Again, though.
He wanted 24. That's all he wanted.
That's fair enough. You can guess that. There is literally nothing that can be done. There is not a single thing that can be done right now. Artist Balance will take down Homeboys. AMKAL, they find Mirage. It's their opponent's map pick. Look, we went into this game saying that they are the favoured side, and they proved it, didn't they?
Absolutely, mate. And yeah, I do think that Khan kind of played exactly how I expected them to play in this game, alongside with their individuals as well. A little bit outclassed, they had their moments, but AMKAL played a style in the end of that game which fit how you beat Khan. Played a bit more group pack-based, regular executes, nothing too crazy. Nafany's charge up short, you could argue, was a little bit crazy in that final round, but it was fast. And that is what catches off Khan pretty well. Now, map 2 coming up as well. It is AMKAL's pick. It's one that Khan play a lot and play pretty well. 15 times compared to 18, kind of a 60% win rate. AMKAL have a 50% win rate. But I do think AMKAL, just overall today so far, look a lot better. And I do think that they are desperately in need of this playoff berth. And they know how important it is. So they're one map away from that now.
Yeah, obviously, even if they do lose Ancient, we've mentioned that Overpass a little bit stronger for them, greater sample size, better win rate, and everything like that. But AMKAL, the opportunity to take things on Ancient. But obviously, Trav, we are going to be jumping to a break beforehand. Into the action we go now. Second map of this series. It is the pick of AMKAL. It is Ancient, and it is one map away from them progressing to the playoffs. But Trav, how do we feel heading into this one?
I think AMKAL are going to win, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it won't be too easy. I think that they've got a bit of a game on their hands here. Let's see if I am right. Nathaniel's gotten the opening 2 kills with the pistol, but the brawl in both lane and middle is significant. Travis is going to check the corner. June is 1 HP, and there we go. He figures that out. It's all down to Lomik. He's got a flash. He's got that kit in the pistol round. Looking to try and take the opening door, but they've already escaped with the bomb through red in toward B. And it's going to be a very tough win in this 1v2. Has found Chiron, though, so Travis has got to do it all himself.
Yeah, Travis, 1 versus 1 here. Lomik is in cave, but he's making steps. He's giving a lot of information away to Travis. Oh, Travis, nice find there. Important. Travis finds 3. Nice clutch there. Nice 1v1. But again, it's just because of the noise that was given. I don't know if you saw just before we went into the replay, June bought an R8 revolver.
That's funny. Yeah, I sell that one pretty quick.
Oh, I don't know.
Deceivingly powerful, that weapon, but yeah, it's still in the place it should be because the Deagle is king for good reason.
Yeah, honestly, I feel whenever you see an R8, you always have to love it because
you have to big it up.
It's just
well.
It is worse than the Deagle.
You have to big it up as well because it's like just comedy if people get like any sort of damage with it at all. As there are very few weapons like that left in Counter-Strike. No one puts the M249 in their loadout because that's ridiculous. There's no troll weapons left really, other than the Bison and the M249 and the revolver probably. That's not good.
Yeah, not great. Obviously, there's already been a lot of damage dealt. Weapon can be picked up though.
Well, good amount of utility being used here by AMKAL over toward B, but they're not really expecting a second player underneath. Thankfully, Chiron was flying over that shelf position, so it took a while for the close player in Homeboys to pick him up, so it allowed the trade instantly for AMKAL. There is a catch there from Lomik, though. That's an important one on Idis balance. Now, Nathani and Travis together, trying to figure out this 2v2. We've seen Teo hit some naughty Deagle shots in this game so far, and that one wasn't very naughty, but it does find Travis. It's all down to Captain Nathani again, but there's the headshot from Lomik, and AMKAL have fallen foul of a low buy again.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know why he's peaked. Quite reminiscent to the clutch he had in that 1v2 with the bomb down on A and back on Mirage. I just don't know why he's taking a fight. They're going to have to defuse the bomb. They know he doesn't have a defuse kit. Not a very well played clutch.
Yeah, I can understand why Travis wanted to reposition into a donut, right? He didn't want to kind of be alone in that situation, but I do think if he maybe didn't run, just stuck in his position, tried to jiggle around the site with a bit of help from Nathani holding toward the Brokey area, the little drop down from Temple, maybe that's a better way of going about it.
Aggression out from A here from AMKAL, but the combination of bullets and utility, Nathani will find Homeboys. Nathani gets another. Lomik eventually trades. Lomik doubles. Travis in a 1v3.
Yeah, not too happy about it either. AMKAL actually trying to keep a pretty similar plan to what they showed on Mirage in terms of their sort of simple execute-based nature, but Yeah, they kind of walked into that brick wall, like you say. Lomic with 2 kills, holding on. 6-1 now for him, and puts AMKAL back down to an eco here. So a chance for Khan to get a bit of a gap working for them on Ancient.
Obviously, the most important thing for Khan here is just to play each round as a kind of an isolated incident. Don't think about the kind of the prolonged necessity for victory. Don't try and, I guess, structure your game plan about, okay, you know, don't think 3-4 rounds in advance. You've just got to play every single round as though it's its own little mini game. Well, we've got to win this one, so what's the game plan? We know AMKAL are on an eco or a weaker weapon, so how are we going to play this differently? And that's all that Khan needs to think about. And the kill feed, gone very blue. 3 versus 1, and Stinix with just a Glock.
Three alive, not too bad for Khan. Now, the buy will come back out for AMKAL. And be very curious to keep an eye on their style as they go through this game. If they keep it similar to how they showed on Mirage. Something that hasn't been working for them, especially to close out that first map, but they do need to keep themselves hard to predict rather than play that sort of style. And also, if Khan want to try and, you could say, disrupt that as well, and maybe push a little bit more aggressively.
Nice from Nafany. He's had some great starts here. Great double in middle. That's brilliant from Nafany.
I think as well, he not really known to be a very good fragging in-game leader, but he's had a great game so far today. So give him credit for that, even if he's not too good in the clutches. They'll get caught out by Tio, but Travis is there for support, so it's all good. That's not too good, though.
Yeah, down to 2 versus 2. This was obviously a 5-on-3.
Why is his AK on fire?
Because Chiron's about to get some heat in the server. I'm not too sure.
Why is his AK on fire, bro?
I have to look. We don't ask questions here.
Well, it was definitely on fire on that one. There we go. It's been put out now. Just blew on it for a little bit.
It's the bullets fired. Just the physical vibration.
You got some incendiary rounds from somewhere for a split second.
He's back a punch the gun, is he? He's back a punch the gun. Well, Idis balance in the back lines. Certainly packed a punch in that one as he takes down Lomic from behind, and now Homeboys 1 versus 2. Positioning of Idis balance. Here's the steps pre-fires. Nice round there. Obviously, starts off excellently for Nafany, and it's nice for Idis balance to get those final 2 in the clutch.
Second kill there from Nafany was pretty solid. I'm just seeing the tip of their head toward the sort of under shelf bottom mid position. I think both was pretty excellent. Can't still have money, so the full reinvestment will come through. No ability to get the AWP out, but that would be dangerous.
Nice find from Homeboys here, but Stinix and Nafany, the refight in middle is so key there. They lose the opener, but they snap the advantage back their way. AMKAL, they've got to find success of this, though. A little bit disappointing to get those frags in mid and still lose this one, but the split approach from Khan should work out perfectly for AMKAL. They just need to press the go. They just need to press the little go switch and head their way onto B. I don't know why they're being so disciplined here. It's allowed for now a rotation from Red Room. We're going to see a late play from June in middle. A flash into Cave here. Timing's going to be everything. But AMKAL are going to look to repivot. If Nafany goes down in middle here to June, we're looking at such an unnecessary kind of moment here. Teo finds Nafany. Yeah, look, Teo gets another. And June, he knows they're in Cave. He's got perfect information. What an like an embarrassing set of decisions here from AMKAL. If they just hit towards B when it was a 4 versus 1 on the bomb site, they just stagger their approach. It's now a 1 versus 1, of which the health is advantage for Dosic. Oh, I like this play, though. The molly and red room. He's going to double back here towards Cave. 22 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Dosic's not sure now. You can see he's kind of hesitating. Now he realizes. So this is the one chance Stinix has. Not had the greatest of games so far. Only 2 and 5 here either. Didn't have a great map 1.
I don't know why he's peeking.
Trying to just take the initiative, right? And there you go.
Fair play. I think it's such a risk, though, to peek, because for Dosic, he has about 100 different angles that he's got to clear. And the earlier in the retake that it is, he has more time to clear said angles. So that could have been a pre-fight. We saw a pre-aim from Dosic. He was prepared for that. Whereas if Stinix stays fully hidden, not only does Dosic not have the time to silently clear Cave, but also it's just that thing of like, you're going to overlook angles later on in a clutch because you don't actually have the time, especially with the fact he doesn't have a defuse kit. Obviously, that's something that Stinix doesn't know, but he gets the kill anyway. Again, it was a 4 versus 1 on the bomb site. It should have just been AMKAL destroying, and it's the fact they slow up so massively that changes it.
Yeah, huge one for Stinix to win. That was pretty unlikely, but held the aggressive angle, take the gamble on low HP. It was full health. I think he plays it definitely a lot differently. It paid off for him. Down to a 3-all scoreline now, 4v4 here. Wary of June pushing through, and he'd be right to assume that. 3 more pistols to find.
Just attempting to back away here as homeboys. 5-7. We will find. Is there a number, I think, if AMKAL get, you go, okay, well done, AMKAL, you've won the game, or?
They've won the game at 9-3. They're in full control at 8-4. They could get caught at 7-5.
Okay, 7-5's okay, interesting. So what, 7-5's a AMKAL is it what, a 60-40 are we thinking?
Yeah, I think if it's 7-5, Khan still have a chance for sure.
Okay.
Because I do think AMKAL will be looking good on CT as well. So
it's the second half where things really heat up because it's actually both teams' preferred sidings, which is always exciting when that's kind of the second half, because you don't really have the consistent mistakes. You don't really have the, I guess, unjustified decisions. Because when it's both teams' preferred halves, that's where it gets really exciting. Because obviously we know AMKAL can activate really nicely. But speak of activation, Chiron gets sent in middle. Great flash from Stinix. Chiron gets the double. And again, this is a 5 versus 3. This should just be a guaranteed round for AMKAL. All they need to do is go shoulder to shoulder, hit a bomb site, win the round. But flash towards ramp, Travis has spotted the UMP. And with that flashbang as well, with the timing of the peak, they should be able to identify there's a second player here as well.
UMP, clearly a favourite for Teo. Dosic and Homeboys.
I love that we're seeing the UMP.
Yes, I think it's all right. I've whiffed less with it with the MP9 than the MP9 lately, I will say that. You'll get taken down by the superior AK, though. Dosic does remove him on the trade, and they have now figured out where Homeboys is as well. So, again, health is awkward, which might make this one a little bit worrying for them. Dosic needs to be traded in NIDS. You know that Homeboys is going to be charging in, and he's already all the way through. Goodness gracious. Now Travis under pressure, 46 HP. Another dink on Idis balance, and only just forced away. That was wild with the way Homeboys played that, completely catching AMKAL off guard, but they get away with it.
Yeah, obviously the main reason they get away is the lack of ammunition. It's the fact he's got an A1S. I think if it's an AK or an M4 there, I think Homeboys has a real chance at that. But you see the moment where he just has to back away, look to retrieve a weapon or whatnot, and it's just a bit unfortunate. An extra 10 bullets there, completely revolutionizing actually how Homeboys not only plays it but has the chance for that round. But I like the speed. I like the fact that he got that timing in cave and looked to push through because he knew his teammate was under pressure. But just a half buy here. We do have the Mag 7 on Dosic. That's a weapon that I feel like you rarely see. And the only times it comes to life is usually on Inferno. And that's possibly quite... That's maybe why.
Yeah. Too many...
What are we thinking about the shotguns?
Plays,
are we thinking the XM's just always going to hold that #1 spot?
I think the XM's goated. They have, obviously, there was a small nerf to it, right? With, I think it was the kill reward and the, I think, was it the accuracy as well? I can't remember. But I definitely know it was the kill reward.
I think it was the spread at close range. I think that's what it was.
Okay, so yeah, and they lowered the kill reward as well. So that obviously makes it a little bit less powerful, but I still think it is the best. The only any place where I think that Mag 7 is better is exactly where you said, half full on Inferno. Seen too many jumping multi-kills with that over the years to think that's not the best position for that weapon. The Nova is actually surprisingly good on occasion, but it's just not consistent enough in terms of the kind of the pellets you shoot. How that spread works. I don't know. I still think that I'm not even going to discuss the sword off. That's not needed. But I still think it's the XM.
I think we've missed one thing with the sword off. We've missed one thing, which is always sad with the changes to terrain. We've missed the JW diving down Pop Dog with a sword off. We've lost that
on cobblestone as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've lost that. Which I think is always a bit of a sad one. But...
Banker Fanatic.
Yeah.
Legendary. Never forget.
AMKAL, though, 6-3 up. Things are looking very positive for them. And we're not there yet for Khan, but we're slowly getting to a bit of a worrying point, aren't we?
For sure.
It's just a lack of consistency with the fraggers. June's had a really tough game, 2-8. Lomic now on the AWP once again. The difficulty...
I just wanted to say, I think Cynic's there just threw all the flashes, I'm pretty sure. I think he was dropped 6, maybe more, in spawn to flash in toward mid. But no real progress there. It's only a Travis 1-for-1 so far.
Honestly, I feel like the dropped utility, I feel like once it was first brought in, everyone loved the gimmick, but I still feel like it gets undervalued and underappreciated. The only map that you really see the true benefits of it is where everyone drops HE grenades on the CT side of Dust 2. But I feel like there is still such a real missing of what you can find with that. But it's a big execute. We are seeing Khan refight in middle, but maybe a little too late as already the B-bomb site to be taken. Utilities, the one issue that AMKAL face here is they've got no deep smoke in CT. They've got no smoke, in fact, towards this left-hand side. Oh, what a shot from Chiron, though. And again, we mentioned Chiron. He was a top performer on map 1, and maybe we wouldn't see success of AMKAL without him. But okay, Chiron, that's a great double. And now with Teo low and an AWP for Lomic. Doesn't really matter that he gets that frag. It's always going to be Lomic backing away. That's now 7 for AMKAL.
They're in full control. There's always a risk when you play Khan that they can just show up and hit you out of nowhere. Today, while there have been little flashes of it, they just haven't been able to put it all together in one clean map. I mean, the wins that Khan have had recently, that does give you the idea that they do have the capability for that, to beat Johnny Speeds 2-0. Bad form right now for Johnny Speeds, but still a decent win. They beat Favbet 2-1, they're beating Sinners, they're beating Eyeballers, Unity. Before that, they'd only beaten a couple of tier 3 teams, so it's definitely their most significant bit of progress for a while.
Chiron is being sent here in middle once again. Needed the smoke to be seen in red room, a swing as well. Very isolated here, and that's why Nafany can find June quite comfortably.
matter. Nafny goes for the swing. And does get found. Dossick, good response, but Travis is there to trade. Very often, it has been Travis trading Nafny. It's a good response from Lomik. Spam damage possible for Chiron to do something there. But he'll get away with nothing. Thankfully, no damage taken back toward him either. But look at this. I mean, Teo is pushed all the way down. Missed shot for Midas Balance because he was shooting at a player that Chiron had just killed. And it means that Chiron now has to win a 1v2 on 50 HP.
Yeah, Chiron steps hurt. Yeah, this is tough, homeboys. Oh, jump spotting. I don't think Chiron knew, but it doesn't really matter. Khan, important round. AK retrieved. This is going to be an investment. Lomik, you need to sell that flashbang because he definitely needs the drop.
I said 8-4. I'd be confident in AMKAL. 7-5. I think can't have a shot. I have a shot at the 7-5 now. Of course, we do have to remind everyone that on the first map, AMKAL also got a 7-5, and it was more than enough.
Yeah, exactly. For AMKAL, it was a very, very promising performance throughout map 1. I think when we got to kind of the end of that map, it seemed as though they gained real confidence. Yeah, okay, their T-side didn't start out perfectly, but they got into gear, they got into their groove, and that's what they've been able to translate here to Ancient.
XM has shown where it's playing from, then I'll be terrified of it and won't go anywhere near it.
Not AMKAL, though. They hear an XM and they go, well, that's a challenge. Let's see how we can take this one down.
Re-smoked off. They're going to exit. They are actually leaving the XM alone. Homeboys over toward A. Good smoke. They can't really go through that now. Yeah. I was going to say, June is actually stomping around quite loudly there in Red Room, and Travis gives him no space to work with. Good kill from Lomik. Tries to time a second, and actually appreciate the way he went about that. Very, very difficult to get a second, considering he knew he was being significantly overrun.
Well,
but,
they did try and escape the XM, and that is something they have done. As the XM of Teo is the last to fall. That is an 8-4. Not bad here from AMKAL whatsoever.
They got it now. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I think as well that in a lot of these rounds, it has been pretty consistent.
Another good game from Nafny. 14-8.
Yeah, obviously Nafny started the game off really nice. It was those double kills in middle, the double kills towards A that gave his team a real, possibilities to step up around. You see Travis has done much better. Obviously Stinix as well has had a decent moment here or there. So AMKAL, they are in a really good spot, and I think a pistol round kind of confirms the game, doesn't it?
Yeah. Nafny with a double flash and kit for this pistol. Here has all the utility for Khan. Pushing toward lane. We have seen multiple of these players go through just ramp itself, through cave. It looks like they're going to just take lane for now. That's going to be a big brawl to come up against AMKAL, as they pushed 4 down mid, actually. But Lomik and Homeboys will cancel that out pretty quickly.
Nice from Travis, though. Important pick. Nafny all getting spammed through. Travis again, but June takes him down. It's all on Stinix now. 1 versus 3. There is a kit in play, but Stinix gets the first. Starting round. Ooh.
Hold it.
He's full sticking the bomb.
He's won. No, he's not.
But he gets off the bomb. Why does he get off the bomb? He could have just defused it.
I think he may have had it, Zola.
But also as well, the only chance he doesn't have it is if he gets instantly taken down. Instant headshot. The second he gets off that bomb, it's a 1 versus 2. Even if you get that kill, it's going to be some awkward little tap of the bomb, tap and jiggle type of, just fully stick the bomb. The game plan's perfect. I really, especially with like 1 or 2 seconds left, I really don't like that decision making. I don't like that change. I think sometimes you just have to stick to your guns there.
I agree. I think there, you've made a decision. You've got the defuse, what, 3/4 of the way through, I think? Yeah. You picked up the kit. Did they know the kit was picked up? And they were charging him down. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I think that was a bit of a bailout. It's a bit of a cop-out decision. If you're going to stick it, commit to the bit. Good kills here from Midas Balance. Fair play with a 5-7 on those difficult angles. But I'll probably be saving the AK on Chiron here.
Yeah, obviously, strengthen up the buy in the next. Midas Balance has done well to get 2 frags here. I think in a lot of these types of rounds, you'll see someone invest in a 5-7. And you're kind of like, well, you've bought a 5-7. Not only have you not gained the financial benefit, but you've also not really taken much away. But Midas Balance has done really nicely in this one. Homeboys, he hears the steps. Oh, okay. This could get very costly very quickly. That should be fine. Yeah, I'm fortunate not being able to keep the AK into the next. I actually would have thought that the CTs would have just tried to keep them there as long as possible, deal a little bit of chip damage, but the bomb actually would have been the main damage dealer, or at least you would have hoped, but they look to take that fight a little too heads up. Khan now 2 away from their opponents. AMKAL. We know they prefer this side, but preference might not matter, as they do need to see a bit of a better performance. Midas Balance has opted for the glass cannon. I don't mind this approach, but he's got to be cautious, especially while the majority of players here on Khan are going to be heading towards the A-bomb side. But Midas Balance, let's see what he has to offer. Playing from Temple here. This is the first, and now there's just going to be mollies and nades at his feet. There's nothing he can do. He's out of this round. But Nafany rotating through Donut. Great find from Nafany. We've got Chiron here as well. Nafany with a second. Traded eventually by Lomic, but that's the bomb now forcibly dropped. Missed HE grenade. We've still got Midas Balance here, but Teo finding Stinix. That's so key. Tap of the bomb once again. Nade in CT. Midas Balance. He goes for the shot. I like the idea, but he misses it. Will connect on this occasion, though. Forced down and forced out. We've still got Travis patiently waiting, but Lomic gets his 4th. Lomic has stepped up massively, 17-9. A much better performance here from Lomic, and has created some real problems now for AMKAL.
Yeah, that's a huge round from him. If Travis got that kill, that would have been the bomb on the floor as well. And a chance to reposition, chance to play out a longer 1v1 and probably win it out, because I'd favour Travis in that situation at the end. Nafany did an amazing job in toward Donut to get 2 kills. He actually managed to waste enough time to get Chiron in to help as well. But even though they kind of did everything right, it feels like in that situation, they weren't able to hold on. Well done, Khan, for forcing that issue and keeping control of this one. But this one could be a bit nervy now. Lomic needs to time this shot on toward Nafany and will. 5-7 will go 1 for 1. Yeah, no chance for Travis there as he tries to peek further down. So, Khan are going to close the gap to 0. It's going to be an even game again. 8 rounds apiece. Dosic will deal with Chiron, and that confirms it for sure. Midas Balance could try and catch one on the retreat, but not to be. There's the bomb closest to him, but he's not going to be able to catch it. So that previous round could prove to be a bit of a pivotal turning point. Nafany and Chiron did pretty much everything they could. Nafany's having a great game at 17 and 12. But Midas Balance couldn't drop down into the brokey position and get the extra kill. That kind of meant it was impossible once the Lomic performance came through. He's now 19 and 9 with 2 more kills.
Yeah, it seems like this is just one of those games where Lomic, he's been given a bit more freedom. I think for Khan, they realised actually, well, Lomic, he didn't really activate that much in the last game. And I think potentially it's because we didn't give him that freedom. We didn't give him that kind of ability to do what he does best and kind of set his own game plan. And we're seeing in this round, he wants to go for an early peek towards A main. We're going to be seeing an altercation of AWPers already. Midas Balance tagged down by Lomic.
Critical opening pick, but damage done. Find it. Do you think that even though it's 8-all right now, Khan finding the consistency to win this game out in regulation will be quite difficult for them? Molotov hasn't gone deep enough, and Nafany's done well to find one more. And it'll be an easy trade here for Stinix. Homeboys gets jumped upon, and he's able to hop away into a Jag as well.
Yeah, really nice there from Stinix. Because they're just going to be assuming that he's still in middle or something like that. And I think the early cave presence is something that could work out really nicely for AMKAL. We're going to have a triple rotation through CT. Molly on the bomb site to try and delay. I'd actually much prefer just seeing the CTs playing kind of away from the smokes, not allowing for any spam to come through, because I think we know how easily the Ts can spam through these smokes and find frags themselves. Stinix taking contact. The AWP is posted up towards cave. Lomic's in a very good position here, but he feels somewhat isolated. That's the issue with having pressure from both cave and this left-hand side. The smoke faded. AMKAL, they deny Khan finding the lead. That is now 9 for the CTs.
And you could actually tell there that the communication for AMKAL was pretty on point, right? If I was to guess, the comms there were, okay, smoke's not faded, smoke's faded. You can go now. He might be distracted. Swing the AWP while you can. Sure, it's not overly complicated. 4v2. You're meant to win that round every single day of the week, but still, you know, Lomic's having a good game. They tried to make it a guarantee that he wasn't able to find any more damage. So I think AMKAL done quite well there. And that's something that we both touched on in the beginning of the game, right? About how AMKAL with these pieces, you can have these good pieces, you can have these players with name value. It doesn't work unless you find synergy. Oh, BT.
Nice find there from Chiron. Chiron continuing the aggression. Stinix now rushing down. Oh, it went so wrong for Stinix. How has that gone so poorly for AMKAL? Disadvantage. Molly on the bomb site. Nade landing shortly as well. This balance going to get flashed off the angle here. AWP in hand. Nafany finds one. Homeboys under pressure. Oh, okay. Idis Balance has spotted him. Sees the leg as well, but Nafany can pre-fire because he knows. And now it's all on June. Here towards the left-hand side, his shadow's been spotted, and what a retake there. Great from Nafany and Idis Balance. And I know a lot of people thinking, well, Idis Balance doesn't actually get a kill. He gets the information on the player towards default. He applies enough pressure while swinging from that left-hand side to force the final player, I believe it was June, to hold for Idis Balance instead of Nafany. It was obviously a great triple from Nafany, but Idis Balance does help in that slight moment. But yeah, excellent stuff there. Really nice for AMKAL. From a round that seemed as though it was only going to go their way. Thankfully, it still does, because 5 versus 3 with 2 players swinging down ramp, it just doesn't seem like there should be any reason why we see AMKAL lose that. And then the quick flurry of kills is just crazy.
Yeah, it really is. I think AMKAL, with how clean that round prior was, to have such a messy lane take, Chiron did so much damage that they just felt almost like it was a guarantee when they pushed more players down toward the, like where Stinix is now, right? And to make up for what he did before. Somehow he's able to spin around and take the 6 there. Fair play to him. Round is done just like that in a very quick fashion. But yeah, that was just a case of AMKAL thinking it was a guarantee that they catch those players with their backs turned, and were really lazy about it. Thankfully, Nafany was able to recover it all. Yeah, they're smothering Khan now. This should be quite similar. 2-0.
It's very similar to how that previous game went, where, okay, yeah, we see a little bit of success from Khan in the second half, but then AMKAL, they just get into their groove. And the money's looking really good. You got Idis Balance on 8k, Travis with 5, Nafany just behind. The only player who won't be able to invest in the next is Chiron, but he's got teammates that can drop him. Khan, everything on the line in this one. June's had a really tough series, and this map, only 4 kills.
Oh.
Yeah, got Idis Balance with a double. And again, it's these double kills that we're seeing far too frequently here for AMKAL. These double openers, obviously it was Chiron in the last, Idis Balance in this one.
At this level of Counter-Strike, and maybe even like half a tier up, say this is like tier 3 right now. We've got maybe tier 2 and tier 1.5. I think as Chiron looks to do more damage, beautiful, gorgeous. I think this is exactly the type of performance we get from Idis Balance. It's a very, very Idis Balance map, this one. Going 12 and 11, getting some important kills, not doing anything too crazy. I think, like, for a while, my main criticism of Idis Balance was that he's more of a turret AWPer and doesn't take the initiative anymore. And especially on CS2, you need to really play on the front foot as your AWPer. He's been improving with that. Like going for the reef peak here like that just shows that he's getting a little bit more confident, not just running away and playing a different position. He's not playing outdated as much anymore as he used to. And I do think that's why, for a team like this, which does have pretty volatile riflers in terms of their ability and their form, he can be a really good piece for this team overall.
Yeah, I think it's something that loads of AWPers have really struggled with. It's the idea of kind of a change in identity of what you have to achieve, and that's why when you've got kind of your AWPers, I feel like someone like Grix is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Travis finds too, but when you're a bit exciting, you're a bit flashy, it's been able to translate from CSGO to CS2, because CS2, that's exactly how you have to play the AWP. But a great double from Travis. Stinix as well, finding it is a 2 versus 4 now. Khan, obviously, they are 2 deaths away from losing their chance at promotion progression to get to playoffs, and AMKAL, they just need to play this right, shoulder to shoulder, get yourself in trading positions, but Chiron wants to end it here. Homeboys now, 1 versus 4. It is done. It is over. There is nothing that can be done here. Yeah, it's going to be a 2-2 scenario.
One more game for Khan to truly find a way into playoffs, which would be a crazy result for them. They're not really a playoff CCT team, I feel like, at the moment. But I do feel like AMKAL are. They're getting there with this new composition of the roster. And look, Khan are a team that should be beating every single day of the week when you've got that name value, that sort of roster, when you've made those changes to push further up. I mentioned to you the level that I think AMKAL should get to, around about like the mid-30s, like an Amiga sort of level, because Amiga are on pretty rough form right now. Anywhere that in that sort of ranking, if AMKAL can get there, get these consistent invites, show up with maybe a CCT win, maybe even in this one, who knows? They're not there yet, but the progress is slowly upward.
Yes, obviously for AMKAL, they've got themselves that playoff spot. They've joined, a fair few teams that have already qualified for the playoffs, obviously being 500. We've got Dynamo Eclot, 1 win, obviously, that we saw today, and joining that, obviously, being AMKAL. But we've got another match here tonight, Trav. We have got, I believe it's Copenhagen Wolves against Reason, and that's going to be our final game for today to determine which team is going to be joining those current 4 that have made their way through to the playoffs already. But that isn't going to be broadcasted by me and you. It's going to be by the wonderful commentary duo of Nexus and Oversaid. So make sure, guys, if you are staying tuned for that game later tonight, you show them some love. I'm sure they're going to bring some excitement and some brilliance to the broadcast. It is kicking off in about an hour and a half's time, or about an hour and 10 minutes time, sorry. So a bit of a prolonged break, but set your alarms. We'll be back. It's not going to be me and Trav, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy the broadcast. As said, hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you in about an hour. Goodbye.